I have been a witness to the spilling of the blood, seen the lifeless bodies lying in the mud. I walked away alive with a wounded heart, but I had to heal it. I had to heal it till I couldn't feel it anymore.
Wow, another great little opening tune for us there. A little more calm than usual. Usually we're on the upbeat.
The calm before our storm.
Our storm.
Our Robert Ginty.
Our fucking Ginty tsunami.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I gotta say, I'm very happy to say this. Not as bad as I thought. I was expecting this to be torturous.
Yeah, because there wasn't as much Ginty.
The fucking cat is all over the place right now.
Yeah, I when I was telling you about this movie, 'cause I watched this first couple weeks ago, and I was dreading it. But I was like, man, we got to cover every Steve James movie, despite Robert Ginty being in it.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, to me, this is Death Wishes to Death Wish 3, Executioner 1 is the Executioner 2, as far as this one's a little more grounded, a little more gritty and real, and then as each successive sequel, it gets ridiculouser and ridiculouser.
Yeah.
If that's even a word.
It isn't, but it's okay.
And so, yeah, I like the kind of old school gritty kind of 70s action.
And I mean, 70 or this was 80s. Yeah.
Well,
but
80.
They're going for that 70s vibe, obviously,
Right.
where it's just
But
people trying to recover from numb. And,
well, yeah, there's a lot of like PTSD shit in the beginning, and then they kind of drop it. Like he's kind of like normal.
He has flashbacks throughout the movie. Like he's constantly, whenever he's going to do something, he's flashing back to it. And
there probably is about a half hour like on the cutting room floor that probably explains this movie a little better.
Yeah, there's very strange cuts, very strange, just like, now
very
this...
Danzig level lingering shots, and then
God.
very cut to the chase shots. Where you're like, wait, did I miss something?
Yeah, you could have built up some tension here and there, but instead they decided to just have him building some Legos for 14 minutes, and it's like, what are we doing here?
And he felt it all wrong too, because he's like, I don't need instructions.
Yeah,
he got one of those Star Wars ones where you need to like follow instructions. Like,
well, he needs instructions because he's not creative enough to build something.
But he
just
thinks
with the
he is.
box
That's
of
the
Legos.
problem.
Yeah,
this guy thinks he could make a hot dog cooker out of a broken lamp.
We know if he saw some frayed wires laying around, he would just electrocute himself.
Just lick them.
Or he'd lick them, yeah. There we go. Oh, yeah. But there's some very interesting things outside of just the PTSD and the numb. I mean, Murray, I didn't realize this has been ongoing for so long. We've got child pedophilia, sex ring going on.
They've been doing that since ancient Greece, Griff.
And it's all perpetrated.
Never gets old.
It's not even just there, Murray. The buck doesn't stop there, and that's a political thing. That was, what's his name said it, but
Harry S. Truman.
Yeah, the fucking politicians are also behind this.
They always
It's
are.
crazy. Yeah, they always are.
Thank God we have a guy like Trump who's going to stop all this.
Yeah, he's doing a great job stopping it. Ghislaine Maxwell, I hope you're doing well.
Hope you don't get the COVID.
Oh, man.
Hope you don't slip on a banana peel.
But this theme is always around corrupt CIA. That's prevalent in this movie.
Well, yeah, you also got to remember this was just a few years away from Watergate, and now before Watergate, we actually believed we could trust our presidents and our government.
Yeah,
and then we were just disillusioned, and hippie era died, went up in flames.
I mean, they've been warning us since the 80s, the early 80s, about how we're just gonna fuck over blue collar workers,
outsourcing those dock jobs.
Our heroes that come back from Nam, they just take up a nice blue collar job. They're just salt of the earth type people. You know, they're happy to have work. And of course, the rich people are gonna fucking ruin the lives for them. They're not gonna give them health care, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we gotta tie health care to job." It's all kinds of fucked up, and they're predicting it in the 80s.
Well, I mean, it's always trickle down economics came out in the 80s. Yeah, you pointed out, you're like, did they film some of these scenes in Yugoslavia? Because there's like some bombed. I'm like, no, Griff, that was New York in 1980. I mean, it was just fucked up.
It was
There was
nuts.
garbage strikes, and there was all this shit going on.
You mentioned that there was a helicopter used in this movie, and they get
Many.
plenty of shots.
He gets his money worth with that helicopter.
I'm sorry if you have trouble seeing the Twin Towers. Don't watch this movie. You'll see it quite a few times.
Fast forward
Yeah.
to 5.15.
That's how we'll make a quick buck. We'll just edit out the shots of the Twin Towers so people don't have that trauma.
Or we'll just put the new tower over it.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I could just
Freedom
fashion one of
Plaza, is
those.
that what it's called?
I think it's Freedom Plaza,
Or the
yeah.
Nakatomi or whatever plaza.
Something like that. That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah. I still hate Ginty. I'm sorry. I mean, I was hoping that the magic of Steve James would just negate the filth of Ginty, but he's not in it enough.
Yeah, he
does what he can. I bet what happened was, by the way, I learned, so it's probably not true because it's not from IMDb, that Steve James just tried out for the role of the hot pants prostitute checking out waiter, or bartender, I should mean.
Oh.
And the guy was like, director was like, you're too damn good for a fucking bartender. You're going to be the real hero of this. Because he is the real hero.
He's our hero.
Well, he's everyone. He's America's hero. He's Captain America.
Murray, this is all I could think about when I started. As I told you, I was expecting some horrible... I was expecting to fall asleep in this movie, and it just so happened I turned on my TV, and there was American Ninja 2. Right at the bar scene when Steve James bowling balls through everybody. Get that nice sound effect in there, too. So I had Steve James on either side of me, and I thought I was going to need it to get through this movie, and I didn't.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I got through it. I love that Ginty is a monster in this movie. Because it's like we see him as a monster, and he was a fucking monster in this movie. I mean, he's the psychopathic killer.
But Steve James's goodness kind of guided him to do some kind of good for the world. I mean, left to his own devices, he probably would have been murdering prostitutes.
Yeah.
And
I
think the influence, there was a very George Lenny vibe between their characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's that program like the Alcoholics Anonymous and everything when you have like your paired person? That was Steve James to Ginty in this movie. It's like Ginty would have just freaked the fuck out, like you said.
He would
if it
be
weren't.
strangling rabbits.
Yeah, and sure enough, that's what he turns to. Go figure. Our prediction comes true.
He loses his conscience.
Yeah.
And flips out.
So we got a rough New York. We got plenty of vibes
Filth and the fury
that still makes sense to us today. We got
urban decay.
Urban decay. We got hospital bills that are crippling families, and
get a better job. Then that's all I got to say. To
bootstraps.
That family.
Hello.
Yeah. Why didn't his wife start get a job?
Yeah. Why didn't she get 2 jobs?
Just because she's got 2 small children at home. Come on. They can get
2?
a job.
I thought it was 3.
It's a little boy and a little girl.
Okay. Perfect family.
Yeah. And perfect nuclear family.
Yep. We ready to hit this trailer?
I'm ready to hit Robert Ginty. So I don't have anything for this, so here's the Exterminator.
Yeah, by the way, there is not a real trailer for this movie that isn't just explosions, so this is going to be something I just cobbled together, so enjoy whatever the fuck it is.
Here's something for you Doctor Who nerds. Exterminate! Exterminate!
Extermination!
In war, you have to kill to survive. On the streets of New York, the choice is the same. For the Exterminator.
Fuck you, man.
The search is on. The police are chasing a killer who's not only smarter than they are, he's doing their job.
That's what it's like to be a victim.
The Exterminator. The man they pushed too far.
Welcome back. Hopefully we all enjoyed that as much as I probably enjoyed making it. But, Murray, where are we going to go?
Like all great action movies, we start out in Nam.
Yeah.
We're in this shit, Griff. Deep in it, right in the middle of a firefight. You pointed out, you said you were bored of the fire. I thought this scene was scintillating, exciting, exhilarating.
I wish we had John DeHart to help with the lighting. I thought the lighting was a little off.
Well, it was it was because it was natural lighting. They were using flares.
Oh, okay.
No, I liked it because you don't see they don't do pyrotechnics because of CGI. They don't do fire at all anymore.
Right.
But this guy, whoever did the pyro for this, I mean, I think he later moved on to doing pyro for Great White, the heavy metal band that burned down that club, because it's out of control, but in a good way. The first thing you see is a huge fucking fireball go off and a man hurtling through space.
Yeah. I mean, you called me out, but at the same time as we talked about it, you made me realize how great these shots were. Like,
Griff,
all these
that's what the point of this podcast is.
Yeah.
We teach people.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was telling Murray, this is boring as shit, but no, there was a lot going on. It's just I wasn't ready. I thought I was gonna hate this movie, and I was like, come on, let's just get this over with.
I understand that.
But
yeah.
This is the only lighting that makes Ginty
Every time
not
we do
look horrifying.
Ginty, because we kind of have to, because we got a contingent of fans who like to listen to us shit on Ginty, so we feel like we owe it to them every once in a while to shit on Ginty.
Yeah.
But even we're like, oh, God, get it over with.
I mean, the last movie we did with Ginty was fucking his sister, so it was hard to top. It's going to be hard to top shitting on that, because that's some crazy shit.
Right. But I think we're going to do it.
Okay, so we get Ginty.
He's just panicking, running, flailing around. Got fucking his character's name's John, and Steve's character's name's Mike.
And at first, I was like, "Oh wow, they didn't just give him some convenient black name that they always do."
No, they did, because his name's Mike.
I was just gonna say, and then eventually they reveal his last name as Jefferson.
Since we're going into the new diverse world, can we put a law that no black character can have the last name Jefferson, Jackson, or Washington?
Please,
because there's more names.
Yeah.
But yes, and it was like a switcheroo till later on, because in Nam, Ginty's got that cheesy white fire mustache going on.
He did,
and Steve has no mustache.
Wow, I didn't even catch that. Yeah,
yes.
I did notice Ginty's mustache because obviously we've mentioned how he looks like a horrible Larry Bird, and when I saw
I don't know
that,
how that's possible, but yeah, he does.
Oh, when I saw that, I was like, someone peg him with a basketball.
And he's just like a chicken with his head cut off. So thanks to his buddy Mike, who's obviously been watching his back all through Nam.
He's taking
out all, because they're surrounded.
Yeah.
And then Mike, he's like, "Fuck, we got to retreat." They're retreating because there's too many Viet Cong. So he fires off the flare gun, and as soon as he does that, they notice they're just surrounded. Mm-hmm. They're captured.
Oh boy. Okay, so we go to this encampment. There's only 3 different Americans there. There's Mike, John, and then there's some other guy. And the other guy is just there to be,
killed.
Just to be killed. Just to show how gruesome they are. And
right. So they got there's even systematic white racism in Vietnam, because who do they go to talk to? The white guy, Ginty. So Ginty's like on his knees, and he's got his arms tied out, spread out, and he's just like, he just says Vietnamese shit. I'm not gonna insult anybody by doing you know what I mean, a bad Asian just make up words. So he just says something in Vietnamese I don't speak Chinese.
Whoa, Ginty, calm down.
And yeah, even Mike's like, we're in Vietnam.
Yeah, come on, man.
I said, no Chinese, don't speak Chinese.
Oh.
And then he's like, where is what? I don't even know what he wanted to know. He's like, where is this happening?
Yeah.
And he's like, shuts up. And then so the guy nonchalantly with a machete in his hand walks over to
third guy. Let's call him Cattle.
And he just this is he had a Ginsu machete. He slightly slices the guy's throat, and the guy's head just slowly falls off.
It was a cool prosthetic and everything.
It was,
yeah.
because the hands were moving and shit.
Yeah, you never see him.
It cost $25,000, that dummy, bro.
God damn, that's expensive.
Yeah.
But it had to be one of those nights from the made on TV commercials or whatever, the infomercials.
Yeah.
Because they always have like the tomato, they
Right.
throw it,
It's
they cut it in
Ginsu,
the air,
yeah.
Ginsu. Oh
And
my
they
God.
say Navy SEALs use those kind of machetes.
Of course, Navy SEALs do. It's also a flashlight
It also was.
and a whistle.
And then all of a sudden now you can just see the piss running down Ginty's leg.
Yeah,
Like,
and
shit.
He keeps looking over at his like totem of confidence, Steve James. He's looking
Right.
over at him.
Steve's just like, calm down.
And
He's like,
Steve, you notice he's rustling. He's working on something. You're like, Steve, what are you working on over there? Whittling yourself a knife or something?
well, while Steve's doing that, Ginty in his mind is distracting him by telling this guy everything he wants to know. Like, all right, we're here, and this is where base is here. He's like this blabbing everything.
Yeah. The codes for the jetpack are alphanumeric. It's 12, 12, 12. Real cool. And like, guys
It's up, down, down, left, right.
A, B.
A, B selects. And he's just telling, he's saying the Konami code. He's just giving everything out.
here's how you beat Battletoads level 3. This guy's running out of paper. He's like, okay, hold on.
Like, enough. What was that again? Up,
Oh, my
up,
God.
left. What?
That's-
While that's going on, he's distracted because when you hear the Konami code, you just tune out. You're like, I got to hear this shit. How
Yeah.
do I beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
And then Steve just somehow wriggles out of his chains. He was chained up.
Yeah, they're chained to stakes here. But hey, he knows the stakes, so he's like, I'm
No
gonna.
pun intended.
The pun was intended.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get me some steaks. So he fucking gets away. How did he get that knife?
I don't know. He's Steve James.
This is more left to the imagination.
Maybe he
because-
didn't have a knife. He just karate chopped that guy's throat and it sliced his throat open.
I know we got that knife because he's just so carefully, like that Ginsu knife through a tomato. He just rubs it across the guy's neck, and it cuts so deep. And then
Yet not deep at all. It was what it
Yeah.
was. It didn't bleed a lot 'cause it was a paper cut. You know, paper cuts are fucking
that's
brutal.
Right. That's right.
So
And-
he's pawing at it 'cause those paper cuts sting. Actually, I think he had a little bit of lemon too, and he squirted it in
he
there.
squirted some. Oh man, those fucking lemons that grow in Vietnam, they're intense too. Like they're somehow more acidic than normal lemons.
Yes.
Now, I'm a lemon farmer. I'm growing lemons.
They
I know.
use those to make napalm. People don't know that.
You just squeeze a little in there. You shake it up.
Right.
Oh man,
So that guy's pawing, ripping his throat out even more.
it's kind of a cool shot,
Yeah.
but I'm like, why is this guy? It's the panic. It's the
Yes.
panic. You got fireballs in the sky, so of course you're gonna.
Right. I didn't understand. You know, since Steve gets a machine gun and starts unloading, a guy gets caught on fire somehow. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, it's all kinds of insanity. It's Nam. Everything's crazy. It's every shot you've ever seen of Nam, except Apocalypse Now, where they kind of made
The
everything
guy surfing
calm.
in the
Yeah,
background.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So everything's kind of coming to. We got the helicopter coming in, and then Ginty spots that
Right.
Viet
Gets
Cong
around
leader.
and shoots him in the back like Ginty would do.
Yeah, he's crawling through the mud trying to get away, and Ginty sees him. I thought he was going to go over and Rudy Ray stomp his Achilles or something.
That would actually take putting your maybe a little yourself in danger a little. And
Yeah.
he's going to shoot you in the back.
Yeah, so that's exactly what Ginty does. Just shoots.
And then they throw him in the chopper. The chopper comes down. They put the flak jacket on him, and they haul ass back to America.
Yep.
And then we get that beautiful song. We open up, and we get a 5-hour a helicopter view of New York City. We see the Statue of Liberty. We see Times Square. We get it all.
I wrote off this opening, and I shouldn't have. It's just I wasn't ready for Ginty. I thought I was ready. I wasn't.
You're never ready for Ginty.
You're never ready. Okay, so we go to the present day. We're in New York. We're just loading up some carts. Salt of the earth. These are our frontline workers today that we've already given up on, and now it's just like, what? Hazard pay? COVID's gone.
Open up the economy.
Please, now.
So we see, as you'd expect, Steve James, slaving away, toiling away.
Ginty, by the way, is sitting just off on the side. He's drinking his 3rd cup of coffee, eating his 5th hot dog of the day.
Ginty's
He was just
like,
by the little
Hey,
Kratz cart.
boss, I got this case of a little diarrhea here. I'm going to be in the bathroom for an hour or two. Is that okay? All right. And then, Steve's like, I'm gonna go between Steve and Mike the whole fucking thing.
I
So
know.
just stick with me.
It's hard because we love Steve James
Right.
so much, so we
So
just wanna
Mike
say
is
Steve.
like, I've heard this one before. I guess I'll be doing his job as well as my job.
So Mike is just loading up, beer can on beer can. He's getting ready to take it all in. Of course, when you're working the docks and everything, because of course it's right on the docks,
always
on the
trouble.
docks, and it's like storage for a grocery store or something. I mean,
Yeah.
they're hauling pigs, they're hauling fucking beer, it's all that. But Steve just got a 7 cents. I just did it. Steve's got a 7 cents for these rich folk because.
Well, they're not rich; they're mobsters.
Yeah, well, they come in suits, so of course they got
well,
money.
one looks like Big Bubba Rogers. And
Okay.
If you're a WWF fan, it's Big Boss Man. But that's what he looked like back in the 80s.
Okay.
So it's a big, burly, fat dude with like a suit on.
Nice little cop mustache there, too.
All right. And they go out to the boss, and they see the boss. He's like doing all the accounting, and he puts aside some money for these guys' protection
This
money.
is Mike's boss, by the way.
Yes. And he hands like a big wad of cash to Big Bubba Rogers, and then they just take off.
He's old school, like getting people's pay together. He's counting by the nickel what each person's pay is, because you get cash payments working on the docks, as of course, because there's probably shady shit going on. Those beer cans are probably full of P2P or something. So yeah, they pay off the tax man, and we just go back down. John, God, I don't even want to remember his character's name.
Well, Mike, he's still sweating, getting everything. And then the boss comes out and goes, Mike,
Oh yeah.
I'm racist, and I think you're amazing. That's how I don't really say this about black people, but you do a great job. You're on time, you do your job, and you go home and you don't complain. Unlike some people, and then he looks back, and we see Ginty with his 7th cup of coffee.
He's finally coming out of that bathroom that he's just
He's like,
destroyed.
"Whoa!"
Yeah.
Got like a porno mag in his hand. Like, oh, don't go in there for a little bit. I just sort of light a match, somebody.
Anybody got a match?
And then
Anybody seen match?
And then he goes up to Mike. He's like, why don't we got a couple hours. Why don't we just fucking leave? Why don't we just go to the bar? And Mike's like, no, we got to do it. But tell you what. Because he's always like, oh, you got money? He's always like, what's up with that, huh? You got some money there?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, the boss fucking paid me a little extra because I'm here. I actually do my job.
I do the job.
And
So
he's like, well, how about we go to the bar? And you're paying.
he's like, okay, here, John, here's $2. I'll go get us some coffee. Or no, he doesn't give him $2. He says, I'll go buy your next cup of coffee and hot dog. You take these beer cans to storage. Right. So John reluctantly agrees because he's like, oh, at least I'm getting a free cup of coffee and dog.
Carrot dangling in front of him.
So we follow John as he walks the beer cans down, and you know what, Murray? We got some ghouls hanging out.
Some ghetto ghouls.
The
ghouls. Greatest Warriors gang that isn't a Warriors gang of all time.
They got a sweet, what was that, a Trans Am? I don't know cars.
It was a Chevelle.
There's a Chevelle.
And it's orange, and it's got the dingle balls hanging on the inside.
Very nice. Truck nuts.
It says, it's got the truck nuts. It says Ghetto Ghouls on the side in case you didn't know.
Yep. I thought it was clever when I noticed it because it was just in the corner tucked away, but no, they hammer you with Ghetto Ghouls.
Branding, it's important.
It really is. Jean jacket sprayed on. Their warehouse was just covered with it. Right. So it's like, where do the Ghetto Ghouls hang out? Maybe there.
Right. Ugh. So we see one of the Ghetto Ghouls is approximately 57 years old.
Yes.
And he was actually in the sequel to this movie, according to him, playing the same character.
Yes.
And he's been in a lot of shit. He always plays, because he's like a misshapen, like, I don't know. He's just a weird-looking guy. I think that's why he gets jobs. He looks weird.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Yeah, wide shoulders. Vince McMahon would have casted him in.
And then we got this little
90s.
Che Guevara-looking guy, wannabe Che Guevara. He's got the beret on. He's very proud of being Puerto Rican because he got Puerto Rican patch.
He always has Puerto Rican. I said it to you in text. I was like, this guy should join. What is it? Santana and Ortiz and of AEW ilk. Ugh.
Right. And so they're like stealing beer out of this storage thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Ginty rolls up, hey, what are you guys doing? And then he walks in and then freezes because like Che pulls out the switchblade, puts it to his throat.
Well, as we learned in Nam, Ginty doesn't know how to defend himself.
Right.
He needs Mike to save him all the time. So
immediately he's like, I'll suck your dick, whatever you want. And they're like, we just want some beer. What? Whoa! Why did they get all sexual for some reason?
And that's what really...
I will, really, seriously. I'm not gay, but I'll do it.
That's what really ticked them off, because they were like, we're just going to take the beer run. There's no need for harm. But after all the dick talk, they're like, all right, we're going to cut your tongue out because we're sick of you. But just so happens that Mike's coming over with the coffees, and he's grumbling. He's like, that John always wanted to go get drunk at the pool hall. But, man, I guess I got to keep my eye on him, after Nam. It's like, okay, Mike, calm down. Let's calm. But he notices that John left the beer cart out. And he's like, fuck, now I have to fit.
Can't he do anything right?
I was ready for him to be a little pissed and get down, really yell at John because that's what we wanted to do as the audience. Right. But no, he's like, fuck, I guess I'll give him a hand. And that's when we walk into the storage cart and we see the,
he does his best Steve James impression of himself.
Yeah.
And just starts kicking ass. We get the bowling sound. When he...
Dude, those guys hit him with the hard R. They're like, hey, you're just some N-word. And he's like, I'm not just any N-word. And he just fucking goes to town on them, suplexing across hoods of cars. John Moxley must have been
this
jealous.
Is where they keep all their empty beer cans because all these cans are empty.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he probably ruined more inventory than he saved by if he just let them take what they wanted. But it's the principle of the matter. You don't steal from Mike's job.
And he was also a little upset about because they do cut Ginty's neck just a little bit.
Yeah,
but a little is too much.
And so they haul ass and he's like, come on, John, let's take out the trash. And they just drag the fucking dude out.
Yeah. So then we cut to some rooftops. Apparently Steve James this is just a random rooftop, by the way. I don't even know if this was the rooftop that Steve lived on.
I'm assuming it is.
I want to believe it as well. But he's keeping some pigeons up there, which is very cool.
In New York, yeah.
I would like to keep pigeons. That'd be cool. So they're just chatting it over.
Mike's like, John's like, I was all ready to kick their ass.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the one guy. The sunlight was in my eye, and I was just waiting for it to go down. A cloud was coming over, so after that, I had him. But thank you.
And then Mike, he's heard this before. He's like, he passed you. Sure you were, buddy. Sure you were.
So I saw that big wad of yours, of course, talking about your money, not your dick.
We saw both, to be honest.
Yeah. But so how about that bar? Are you ready to go to the bar now?
He's like, John, I got to respond. Like, all right, I can do it. I don't know why, but I can't say no to you. I'm going to tell my wife to fuck off. And the kids.
It's 8 a.m., by the way. He's like, let me just go see my kids off to school, and then we'll go to the bar. It's 8 a.m., and they're about to go play pool.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Huh?
Okay.
And so, like his wife Maria, she's like, John again. He's like, baby, come on. We were in Nam together. She's like, okay, go to the fucking bar. While that's going on, John... I guess he didn't even wash his face from yesterday because he still has blood on his chin.
This same day, dude.
And that gives him a... Well,
they worked the night crew, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know how to explain it, but that's the timeline.
And he has a flashback to Nam again. He sees that head being chopped off.
Yeah.
Very overly dramatic. It's like, come on, he's got pricked on your fucking
It's just
chin.
like the strobe light of that red flare just flashing, and I was like, man, that's giving me PTSD. It's too much.
So Mike, he goes back to the roof. John's gone. He's like, oh, asshole. He's probably in the front of the house. So he goes back down.
Again, great. I mean, it's depressing that this was New York at one time, but all that fucking rubble and everything, it's insane. Like, cool shots, the exteriors and everything. But
as he's going to meet John, he bumps into the fucking ghetto ghouls. They don't let anybody just kick their ass.
Yeah, he's got to go through like this little wedge in the fence, so there's a little choke point there, and wow. Is that not a foreshadowing to something that's about to happen here?
Yeah.
So one ghetto ghoul is around the corner that he's about to round, and then another one comes through with a giant chain link and grabs him by the throat.
Starts strangling Steve, and they pin him down to the ground, and then little Che comes out with a garden rake.
Okay, I was reading the synopsis of this movie, and they were like, he busts out a dagger. And I was like, that was not a dagger.
No,
that was a little garden rake.
Yeah, and he just goes, right into his spine, and then just yanks it down.
Man, I wonder if he does that thing I did as a kid where when you have like a sweater on or something, and you pull your hand back, and you just have the little rake hanging out. And yeah, I bet he did.
And totally fucks up our man Mike. He's just like, ugh, great.
Yeah, he digs it in his back. Do you remember? Do you ever see the fake operations that people would do where they're like,
that's psychic surgery.
Yeah, psychic surgery. It looked like that because he's digging this garden rake.
It had that really. I don't know what was going on with like the 60s and 70s. The blood was like really orangey looking. It's like really fake looking. I don't know why they couldn't get the color right.
Oh, I mean, maybe they were trying to go for something really to pop out because of the green background it was going against. I don't know.
So we cut, like we were saying, there's a lot of weird cuts. I mean, he's immediately in the hospital now.
Yeah.
We don't even get like John finding
him. Yeah. How?
And so they find out he's paralyzed. He probably will never walk again. He's got a fucking trach on and a fucking oxygen mask with holes in it. I don't know what was going on with that because how do you have an oxygen mask with holes in it? Kind of defeats the purpose.
Right.
But they're selling it that he's fucked up.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of peck jelly on the chest, looking good.
I mean, he's still obviously
because we know Steve James is like, if I got an opportunity to be shirtless, I'm going to take it.
I'm taking it, yeah. All right, so then we just cut to John. This is the weirdest cut of the movie, I think, because it just softly goes into the nighttime. John has captured, out of nowhere, he has one of the ghouls.
Yeah,
and
one we haven't seen.
Yeah, one we haven't seen.
But like you said, they're good at branding, so they got their jackets to say.
Yep, and of course he's got a nice red bandana on because why not? And John's got him all tied up. And
I thought it was funny because this actor is on Better Call Saul.
Oh,
but
really?
He plays, I mean, he's like 60 now.
Right,
but
right.
he plays like this dweeby, like lawyer dude. So it was
Nice.
funny seeing him playing a gang member.
I don't know if we remember to bring this up in the top half, but we were talking about the flamethrower and how both covers of Exterminator have him and his flamethrower on it. He barely uses the flame. Like, that is not...
He doesn't use it at all in this one. He threatens to use it.
Yeah, he threatens to use it here. And that somehow became the imagery of this movie. And even the second movie doesn't use a flamethrower. Somehow is the cover of that one, too. It makes no fucking sense.
So he starts threatening. The guy's like, I don't know anything. And he pulls out the flamethrower and starts waving under his nose.
Yeah.
Just heating up your memory. And
oh, God.
He's like, okay, it's our clubhouse is at this street. And then just spills it all.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're lying to me. I'm going to come back. And he just leaves the dude. We don't know what happens. Somehow the guy gets out, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. He does somehow get out, or they just forgot.
And then, so we go to the, I always want to say Groovy Ghoulies because it was like a
Groovy
that was a
Ghoulies.
cartoon as a kid.
I like it.
But the Ghetto Ghouls clubhouse, which is just the second floor of an abandoned building.
And again,
I love this. It's the second floor. You don't commandeer the whole entire building. This is the second floor.
Well, the first floor has been probably just like rubbish and everything. So
that's probably where they keep all their stolen goods because we've learned they have a bunch of TVs in there.
Maybe. But again, how could you not find this fuck pad? Because it's the whole walls are spray painted, like the whole exteriors with ghetto ghouls, and I mean we see it in the daylight, and it's just like, yeah, that's pretty obvious that they live there.
So they're just fucking smoking. They got the Che Guevara poster up.
They did, yeah.
And they're dancing little foreshadowing. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno.
And we see that homunculus guy like dancing with these women. Looks like the human version of the Thing from the comic
You're
books.
right. Yeah, he was
like,
very
dancing with these prostitutes. And
they're
they're having a good old time, man. They've forgotten about Mike.
Yeah.
Mike is yesterday's news, literally.
Classic marijuana party. You got boobs out. You got some asses in there. It's a great time. Great time.
It is until John shows up. As always, whenever John shows up, the party dies. And he's got his M16 that he brought back from Nam. PTSD and an M16 is the only thing he brought back from Nam. And he just barges in. He's like, bitches, leave. And the bitches leave. And then he starts, hey, you motherfuckers, you killed my friend. And then he's like, it was just an African-American. He doesn't say African-American.
Yeah.
And then he comes back with a great line. That African American was my best friend. He did not say African American. And so the guy tries to like get at Ginty. Ginty just blows him away with the M16.
Yeah, one guy tries to surprise him. He goes off to the side, and he thinks that Ginty doesn't have peripherals because the jowls are in the way. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So Ginty shoots the shit out of him, and then I think he might just wing another guy.
Well, no, it's just another weird cut. He's just like
That's right, because he
next thing
captures
you know,
the
they're
kill.
in another building, and I don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
And they're tied up on the ground, and we see there's garbage everywhere with rats on there.
Yeah, and there's like a fresh apple and banana. It's like, wait, are you feeding the
Dude, you can't have a movie garbage scene without a banana peel. It's just that the law. It has to. Just like anytime anyone's carrying a bag of groceries, there must be something green hanging out, like celery or like lettuce.
Of course.
You have to. It's like, have you ever noticed that no one uses disposable lighters in movies ever? They always use Zippos. Nobody has a disposable lighter.
That's a good point.
Even if they don't smoke, they carry a Zippo.
I will have you know, in this movie they use a matchbook instead.
Yes.
So
Well, that makes a little more sense.
I like it.
So, yeah, he's just like, he just leaves them for the rats. I mean, lets the rats take care of business. He actually saw Rats Night of Terror, one of our classic episodes, and said, this is what you deserve.
Yeah. So I like this. Now we're going into, because again, Ginty is our monster of this movie. So we're actually going to cut over to the star of this movie, according to IMDb's list of actors.
The guy who had the biggest name at the time.
Yeah.
Christopher George, who the last time we saw Christopher George, he was the maniacal synchronized swimming obsessed villain from way back in our history.
God, 10 to Midnight?
Enter the Ninja.
Enter the Ninja, holy
He was
shit.
Shokazuki's boss.
No shit.
And we haven't talked about him in at least 2 years. That was one of our first episodes.
God damn, yeah.
And so, yeah, he's like the Ric Flair cops, always styling and profiling. Got the turtleneck with the fucking button-down shirt and the blazer.
He is a detective, and he's going to be... I mean, this is a...
He's always on the trail of the Exterminator.
Yeah, it's classic movie, structure here. So he's going to be one step behind all the Exterminator's doings. Yeah. So he arrives at the...
I'm assuming that, he must have left he must have put them on the bottom floor. You're right, there was probably trash in the bottom floor because they find the bodies in the clubhouse.
Yeah, okay.
And they're also finding a bunch of stolen TVs. He's like, hey, Dalton, you need a TV?
I like this. We've talked about civil forfeiture and how it's fucked up before. The cops are just walking away, and they're, like, loading things into their own personal cars and everything. And it's just like, this was stolen, so it's ours now.
Right.
It's not stealing if you're a cop.
Possession's 9/10 of the law.
Exactly. So they're getting away with all the cool shit, all the VCRs, all the tapes of WWF, the good ones, the 70s.
And Dalton's like, this is crazy. Who would do this to somebody?
And then you have a nice transition back to John Lowe. He's actually doing his job today.
Yeah, we asked to. He doesn't have Mike to cover for him anymore.
Yeah, he actually seems a little more bright right now.
Right.
Like, he's, like, singing along. He's, like, got some pig heads. Gonna put him in a truck.
Well, he got revenge. The movie's over, right, Griff? It's just done. I mean...
Yeah, he did get he got the revenge on the people who killed his buddy. So, yeah, he's got to be done.
Yeah. Wrong. Because as he's loading up that meat... Blake Bubba Rogers comes back with his buddy. It must be that time of the week to pick up the payoff.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's decided right then and there, I'm judge, jury, and executioner.
And you're wondering during this movie, like, why do we keep seeing the suits? Are you gonna tell me anything about them? Well, don't worry, because we're gonna cut to a rich dude, and he's having a nice cigar breakfast.
The Don.
Yeah, the Don, and of course he's looking through the newspaper for his Buck Rogers comic strip.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck is this Garfield shit?
Yeah.
I don't like Mondays. What the fuck is that? Where's Buck Rogers?
What is lasagna? I go to Vinny's to get me a nice...
And he's got the young Chippy on the side. He's like, you don't even fucking know who Buck Rogers is, do you Garfield-loving bitch? Get out of here.
Yeah,
I gotta talk to somebody.
Ugh.
And then this guy comes in, assuming from the government, he's like, look, the people in Washington, they want you to cut the price of meat down. Wink.
Yeah. Your beef is out of this world. It's too expensive.
And then Don comes back, where's the beef? And then he's like, I don't know, sir, but wink, wink, lay up. He's like, I'm trying to run a business here. Look, things are getting hot in Washington. Just chill out for a couple weeks. All right, but what am I paying you guys for? You can't even give me Buck Rogers in the paper.
You bring me some good news next time, or I'll have your tongue. So now we're going to go check back in on Dalton. I don't know how he's going to figure out who the exterminator is because he's got no leads, man.
He's got contacts, though.
But he's got, of
People
course.
got their ears to the ground. You go to where the whoas hang out first when you ever want to know anything.
Naturally, they just hear.
Well,
see
you
everything.
assume if they were having a party, they had to have whores at it. So he's like,
good thinking.
I got a spot. So he goes to the local truck stop. He's looking for those lot lizards.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, the role that fucking Steve James tried out for, this guy, he's like, you didn't hear from me, but Hot Pants Sulahan, who's over on 31st and Main or whatever the fuck, she knows what's going on with those ghoulies.
Yeah, she might have a little bit for you.
And he's like, thanks. See you later. Hey, I got a few tickets here. Can you take care of those for me? And then I think like Dalton just tears them up. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
You could do that back in the 70s in New York. Just tear up a fucking ticket. I'm not paying it.
So to prove that we're at a truck stop, we do have a trucker talking to a prostitute, and we're having some fun with that whole bit. I don't even remember what happens here, but we go over.
Well, Hot Pants she's hanging out. He's like, he notices her green hot pants. That must be Hot Pants.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say we go over to Dalton, who of course is just surveying the scene.
Well, he's probably had his way with her a few times. Tried out the merchandise.
Yeah. Think so?
Yeah, I think so. Because he pulls up and he's like, hey, what's happening, Toots? And she gets in there. She's like, look, I want to say, like, this is how bad the economy was, but if you're a perv, it was a great time to be alive because its pussy was super cheap. I mean, because she's like 15 for regular, 25 for any weird shit, like anything.
And then Dalton holds up some handcuffs.
And then she's like, that'll be 35. I'm like, wait a minute. You just said 25 for anything I wanted.
Yeah.
What the fuck? A lot of bait and switch going on in the sex industry at this time.
A lot of bait and switch.
And he's like, oh, babe, I'm hauling you in. She's like, oh, damn it.
No, this is some bullshit. So, I believe we go straight to the precinct?
Yes. Takes her in for questioning, puts her in a place they usually don't keep the prostitutes. Because we've seen enough cop movies. They always keep them out in that open area. Because we always see, whenever we have cops congregating like in the office, we see somebody hauling in some prostitutes.
Yep.
No, this is like a dank ass cell.
Yeah.
And she's already starting to switch. She's like, you don't bring me here. And he's just fucking mind fucking her. He's not even saying anything. He's just like, And then goes, grabs her purse, dumps it out.
That's what gets her real upset because you can't do that. He has no reason. Well, I guess he did arrest her.
Yeah.
So I still don't know if you can technically go through their purse, but he starts rifling through it.
There's like condoms, tampons, fucking Princess Aura's panties.
Yeah, I didn't get what was going on there, but
silver dollar. And then she sees a syringe, and he just goes. Doesn't say he pulls the dad move. He's just shaming her into spilling her guts. He's like, I'm just so disappointed.
He takes it one step further and rips her shirt to show the track marks,
and that breaks her, dude.
It
did. Worked.
Of course, it did.
He did the disapproving dad move, and she's like, "I'll tell you anything you want. Oh, I'm such a failure." And so
if he really wanted,
she's
to
like, "All I saw were jowls. I don't know." And he's like, "Jowls. Let me write that down."
I was just gonna say, if you really want to cut through someone, you just got to show them a picture of that Ginty face because that'll do it every time. All right, so we got to join John again. Unfortunately, he's back at the hospital, and he is so pumped because he has just killed multiple people. And obviously,
he's bummed because he never thought he could do it without Mike's help.
That's true.
He's proud of himself in a way.
He's got a little brother complex. He's like, I beat level 3 without you, big brother. I did it. I didn't need you to, put in the Konami code or anything.
Steve James acting the fuck out of his eyes.
How is he so good? How does he outact Ginty without the use of his hands, mouth, just his eyes?
Just his eyes. That's all you need. It's the windows to the soul.
And, of course, we can read eyes.
Right.
I forgot who taught us. It was, I believe...
Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop, yeah. So, we're reading...
He's saying so much, yet nothing at all.
And unless you read
And
eyes,
yet
you
the
can't tell.
opposite, Ginty's saying so much and nothing at all with his mouth. And he's like, look, I got him, boss. I got this idea too, you got these hospital bills. I got an idea to get money. We see Steve's like, no, don't. You've done enough. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
He's trying. It's the whole confusion of no means no, yes means yeah, no action means yeah. So he's getting the mixed signals because Ginty is dead set on his plan here.
Yeah.
And so he's reading Steve's eyes any way he wants.
He
to.
can't read eyes, so he's just yeah. You want me to do that? Okay. And he takes off.
So we've already seen our mob boss once here, Gino, and now he's getting ready to go out. But of course, we gotta do a little foreshadowing here. So we see him. He's got a nice Doberman,
Right.
Little aggressive.
Classic dog of the 70s. He loves these. Like, look at that. He's got like one of those things, pads on his arm.
Yeah,
the dog's like,
for canine training.
He's like, that's fucking awesome. And he's like, well, we got that reservation at Vinny's.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, babe, you ever had a Mexican-Italian fusion? No, but it sounds great. They got the best guacamole you've ever had, babe.
Guacastroni.
And she's like, that sounds great.
Oh, God.
So they go over to Vinny's, good old Vinny's.
Man, they're just sitting down. They're enjoying a nice little guacastroni.
Well, they got the Chianti with the salt rim glasses.
Of course,
classic.
of course.
And then Gino's just like, pardon my French, but I gotta go destroy the toilet. Whoa.
Bruno, go check out the bathroom. Make sure it's
I
clean.
get a little shy when I gotta destroy a toilet.
Well, I think he's walked in. We've all done this, where you walk in and someone shit all over the toilet. So he wants to make sure he's got a clean seat to work with.
Well, no, he wants to make sure he won't be blamed when he fucking shits all over the toilet seat. Because like you said, he's going to destroy the seat. That's why he purposely held it in, because he didn't want to ruin his own. That's why immediately he's like, hey, I got to get this out before I put some more food in.
And maybe that's what he gets off on, is like just destroying toilets, public toilets.
He's ready to destroy. You know, he takes his jacket off. He's like, this is going to be an Olympic level shit.
I mean, he goes to full Costanza and takes his shirt off.
He puts a headband, a sweatband on.
He uses this as a sweatband. But his goon does go through, checks the toilet.
Right.
He feels under, make sure there's no weird shit. He's seen The Godfather, so he checks to make sure there's no gun above, the water tank or whatever. He's like, okay, boss, it's all clean in there. But our camera, it suspiciously alludes to the trash can and how it wasn't checked.
And then Ginty the Grouch just pops up.
Yeah, after the Don has walked in and gone into
Very
the toilet.
reminiscent of Zadar popping out of the laundry thing. And,
Yes, it really was. I didn't put that together, but you were right.
and we hear just the vile noises coming from that stall.
Zadar actually pops out of a trash can as well. So it wasn't just the laundry cart, but he pops out of a trash can.
So we just hear splashes and farts, and it's just vile.
It's grotesque.
Even Ginty's like,
Yeah, and we're seeing Ginty, and that's grotesque enough, but here these, ugh.
We're hearing the audio version of looking at Ginty. It's like we're getting hammered twice.
Yeah.
And so he finishes, he's like, ruining another one.
He's actually kind enough to wash his hands, though, and he's really washing. He's like COVID washing his hands. Like, he's getting down to the bone here.
He's singing Starting Over from John DeHart for 10 seconds.
So, Ginty has prepared himself a nice syringe.
Of something.
We don't know what's in there, but yeah, he's got it prepared up. And we get this beautiful shot. And Gino,
not beautiful at all.
Yeah, it isn't beautiful. It's
horrifying
again grotesque.
shot.
So he looks up in the mirror and just sees that haunting, jowly figure, and that's enough to just rob you of your voice. It makes you go mute.
Yeah, his hair turned white. It was that terrifying.
Because obviously, if you get stuck with a syringe,
He's
and
like,
injected,
was I saying Bloody Mary into the mirror? It's like, no. You're saying Bloody Ginty.
Because obviously, when you get injected with something, it doesn't immediately ruin your
He
body
fainted.
and knock you.
He didn't even need to use the syringe.
He doesn't realize the power of his own jowls, or he refuses to believe that's what makes people fall, faint. So, Ginty, I didn't even realize this. Applaud Ginty for his ability to drag people through craziness, because he knocks out Gino, who is a large man, and manages to drag him out through a window. Yeah. Meanwhile, he doesn't even know what's happening out in the restaurant anymore, but...
Well, when he's out in the restaurant, one of his goons is talking to Vinny.
Yeah.
And, like, Vinny's like, any good jokes for me? And he's like, well, pick up mobster day. So Don Gino walks into a doctor's office with a Doberman on his head. The doctor says, what can I do for you? And the Doberman says, yeah, get this Don off my ass. And then the girlfriend's like, oh, bravo.
She's so into it. She's like, take me home and fuck me now. So they give up on the Don. His car just disappear.
And Big Bubba just goes with him to watch. They both take off.
I don't even know how Gino realizes that happened, but he realizes it.
Because he knows, because every time they go to Vinny's, we know that Big Bubba's got a fucking new joke.
Yeah.
And it always makes him angry. Because,
he's the show. He's supposed to be the star.
So, yeah. So, another quick cut. We just cut to...
I'm sorry. John, through that tiny bathroom window that's 8 feet up in the air, he manages to get the Don through it and pulls himself through it, too. I was like, how is Ginty this agile?
All I was thinking was, where's Snake Eater when you need him? He could have had a perfect toilet trap waiting to happen.
He could have had the toilet... Oh, look at this. Vinny got that new carpet I was telling about in the back. I can't wait to step on this thing. Electrocuted. But yeah, so we got Gino come to. He's chained up,
dangling from the rafters.
Yeah, and then slowly this ginormous meat grinder,
industrial-sized meat grinder,
gets pushed over underneath them, and Gino's like, whoa, what's that for? Is that a steamed cannoli machine? What is going on here?
Oh. And then Ginty's just drooling a little, and he's just like, hey, you got any money?
You got any money for me?
And he's like, sure, whatever you want. I got 20 grand, 30 grand.
Yeah, I got easy cash. I got cash, liquid cash. I'll give it to you. Just get me down from here. What are we doing? It's like, is it really going to be that easy? Well, yeah. I mean, I'll make it easy for you. How easy? I'll give you my address, the key. Well, where's the money? Combination lock.
Gives him the fucking alarm, the code of the alarm system.
What about your goons? And this is what we were alluding to a moment ago. He's like, my goons took off. My lady went to go fuck Bruno.
And he's like, anything else? And then he remembers back to that dog. Like, nope, nothing else.
He has his own PTSD flashback to his dog.
I thought it was just being on the toilet was a PTSD flashback. So we just cut straight to the chase. We're right at the Don's place,
and I gotta hand it to Ginty. He's pretty sneaky. He gets in that door. He opens the lock. He gets in.
He's on tippy toes.
Yeah.
But then, he's not too sneaky because dumbass fucking runs into a dog dish, spills the water everywhere, which pisses the dog off.
Yeah. See, this is the scene I didn't like. There's so much wrong with this scene, and I'm not just talking about the fact that Ginty is about to murder a dog that's just doing his job. I mean, fuck you, Ginty. The fact that, because the dog immediately attacks him, and we get blood everywhere. That was kind of cool, the fact that there was just like...
when I'm playing with my dog, it looks more vicious in this scene.
Yeah.
It's just him wrestling with a dog.
Yeah. But
he knocks a bunch of shit off the kitchen counter.
It just so happened that Gino must have been cutting up a turkey or something because he left the electric carver out.
I was like, is it that hard to carve that you needed electric carvers?
I know. I was really like, why that? Not a knife.
That's a very 70s thing. I don't think they even make those anymore.
They do.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Learn how to carve, people. It's not that hard.
It really isn't.
And yes, like you said, he grabs the fucking carver.
Electric
Thankfully,
meat carver.
It's charged, it's plugged in, and we just hear him like, oh, we imagine a theater of the mind. He kills the dog.
Yeah, well, the cries you hear, that's too much for me. So, John has just splattered blood everywhere. There's evidence covering this kitchen. Right. He cleans his hands. He cleans off the electric carver. A half-assed job, by the way. And then he just looks out to the moon, points at it, loses the moon for his finger.
The heavenly glory?
Huh?
Does he see the heavenly glory?
No, he loses it for his finger because John is so short-sighted. And he's just like, oh, that motherfucker. So he returns to that warehouse.
Well, first he destroys Gino's toilet. He's one toilet destruction deserves another.
Leaves a little more evidence around.
Well, there's no DNA evidence back then, so you get away with that.
Okay.
I mean, they would have blood types and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But
So he returns back to that warehouse because he's just been sighted. Gino fucked him over. He didn't tell him about the dog. He's like, hey, thanks for telling me about the dog, and just hits the lower button, and then we hear some good screaming. I like the screaming. Oh, no, I didn't like this screaming. I like the guy getting caught on fire later screaming.
this is just Mamma Mia.
Oh, tell Vinny I love him.
And then we see just some hamburger go through. Like, there's no clothing or anything going through. It's just...
Yeah, no clothing, no blood or anything. Just, yeah.
Just some nice ground chuck.
Oh, yeah.
So, fuck, man. John's losing it, dude. I mean, he didn't have to do that. He got what he wanted.
Yeah. So, of course, you have to, you got your John scene. We got to go back to Dalton now. What's he doing? How's he figuring out what's going on here?
He's checking in with, I guess, one of the Groovy Ghoulies survived.
I like him better as the Groovy Ghoulies.
And he looks like the fucking dude from the guy.
Samurai Cop.
Yeah, he's all bandaged up.
Everything's bandaged up, and his lips are burnt, so he can't talk.
Right. And the nurse tells him that.
I love it. The nurse,
and he knows the nurse for some reason.
Yeah, Megan.
Yeah.
I love that the nurse leaned in, Samurai Cop adjacent, and is like, yeah, he's not going to say much.
And then they have a little tete-a-tete where she's like, do you want to fuck me?
Bingo.
And then she's like, well, first you got to take me out to dinner.
Yeah. She, by the way, she works the night shift. So it is.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do you like eating? Do you like food?
Yeah.
That's his line.
Yeah.
Do you like food?
Do you like food?
He's like, I know the great... He's like, what's your favorite food? And she's like, well, I'm very fond of Italian and Mexican. Those are my two favorites. He's like, I got the greatest fusion place you ever saw, but unfortunately, it's 3 a.m, so we can't go. How about a picnic in the middle of Central Park when the crime rate is through the roof? I'm a cop. And she's like, that sounds great.
So we get this nice... I was like, what is this movie? I'm still struggling. I do like this movie, but I'm struggling to figure out the tone and the direction because we get this love scene of them hanging out, and I was like, wait, so they knew each other, and now they're rekindling an old relationship, so of course there's only one song that we're playing in the background.
Why did I ever let you slip away?
Start over, you fool. It's easy to do. Don't lay it an ending. Get a hold of you. Walk towards the future and out of the past. And remember the good things in life. You know that sometimes last.
I didn't realize John DeHart was so heavily used back.
Prolific.
I thought
I didn't know where Dalton got the ice cubes for nipples. I mean, that was...
I know. Like, they didn't even have a cooler there, so he was just keeping them in his pocket. Maybe it was dry ice. That's dangerous. You don't put that on nipples.
You do not put dry ice on nipples.
Clearly, Megan's into that real hard shit.
Yeah,
and
she is.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense then.
Speaking of hard shit, we go, and I'm talking about Gino. We go back to the filth of Times Square, where we get a guy whose character's name is Chicken Pimp.
Yeah, this is taking the movie into a third weird direction. Oh, my God.
This guy perfectly cast. He's just oozing grease. He was like, ugh. He's got the comb over, everything you could think of. That's gross.
Yeah.
That's not Ginty.
The shirt he was wearing, too.
Yeah, wasn't it like a Hawaiian shirt or something?
Yep.
With like a leather jacket over
and
it?
he only had like the middle buttoned on, so it was like has the chest flaring out and a beer belly going down below. It was too much. He had a little flat tire, not like a huge belly.
And a prostitute was like, hey, big boy, you want to do something? He's like, yeah, matter of fact, I do. You want to make $100? She's like, $100? I'll do anything.
You bet your sweet hot pants I do.
$25, I'll do anything. $35 for handcuffs.
35 for handcuffs.
And he's like, well, come with me. Takes her to this fucking fucked up sex dungeon.
We cut away. We just see a door close, and it's all padded. And there's just this tiny little, like 3-inch by 3-inch square window that's got a door
mask just hanging on the wall.
Yeah, there's 8x10 glossies of dicks everywhere, and you can see them like over their shoulders and shit. And you're like, wow, this is gonna be.
And he's like, and then he whips out the strap-on dildo. He's like, yeah, I got this client here. He likes to fuck young boys while being fucked by a broad. And
wow.
she's like, whoa.
Is that
Whoa.
excuse me, is that the Excelsior 3000?
You better believe it is, baby.
Because I've worked with the 2000. That was beautiful.
This is state of the art. What do you think? We're some kind of rinky-dink thing here? This is state of the art.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, but I ain't into fucking kids. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I can't get down with that.
He's like, you'll stay in, bitch, because you already locked the door. She ain't getting out.
Yeah.
And while that's going on, George Costanza is like at the end of the hallway wearing a towel with pants on. But he is shirtless.
He might have been shitting, too.
And he's just licking his lips, watching her.
Oh, God.
And he's like, bitch, you're going to do what I fucking tell you. Come here. And he just grabs her, takes her to another room. Costanza just follows.
Yeah.
And he's like throws her on the bed, and he pulls out this like soldering iron.
Yeah.
And Costanza's like, can I do that? Oh, sure, it'll cost you extra. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then we get the most disturbing scene. We get this close-up of the soldering iron being plunged into some fucking Vaseline.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's burning.
And then he goes over, and I thought if they would have cut it away there, what you thought happened would have been way worse. Because what he ends up doing, it was still disgusting scene and all, but he goes over and he just like lays it across her tit.
Yeah.
And just gives her this huge gnarly burn. So I only know that because that's foreshadowing. Sorry, I didn't mean to bury the lead there, but I did.
Yeah, he's just painting a picture with a soldering iron all over her tits.
So we kind of fade away to just the screams, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And then we kind of zoom back out, and we're watching a television broadcast.
Right.
And the news is reporting, apparently our exterminator has left some kind of manifesto.
Right. He's just saying, if you guys aren't going to take care of the streets, I will.
And we continue to zoom out, and we're in some like office. This movie, again, it's gone to a weird place.
In this scene, I got excited. I thought the guy that, not the CIA guy, but the guy in charge, I thought it was John P. Ryan for a second.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like it, because we got a shitty, like, blurry fucking copy of this. I was like, holy shit, they got John P. Ryan as well. But no, it's not John P. Sorry, guys, it's not. I know I get everybody excited. Not John P. Ryan.
So apparently there's supposed to be some kind of Congress or Senate. They're politicians.
Well, this is an election year. This was like 79, and who knew that fucking Jimmy Carter was so ruthless? Everyone acts like he was such a pussy, but he's like, we got to get law and order. Like, people think the country's out of control.
Yeah.
And we need to let them know we're in control. We've already sent out some troops to fucking Portland. We got that fucking city taken care of. But we got to get New York in check.
Yeah. And, of course, we got to make sure that, because I don't know how they heard it, but maybe they know about the huge Operation Comet Ping Pong Pizza and all that, and the child sex ring. They're like, we got to make sure, because we're afraid that Costanza's losing it.
And this exterminator guy sounds like a QAnon type, so get rid of him.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, sure, whatever.
Perfect cutaway over to John. He's prowling the streets, just walking them. He's enjoying, just enjoying the sights.
Right in the middle of Times Square back when it was just a fucking porno theaters left and right.
They love to do these shots of New York from the 70s and everything, where you're walking the streets, you're just seeing crime everywhere. Cars being broken into, guns firing off, somebody Sam's hanging out. It's all kinds of bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we're supposed to... in a normal setting, I think we're supposed to sympathize with John, because he's like surrounded by the filth. We got transvestites pawing at him.
Yeah,
and
again, like Taxi Driver,
right? And all I can concentrate on is fucking jowls flapping in the wind. I can't.
They're
I'm
awful.
like, who's the sicko?
Yeah, and you've got like prostitutes walking up. You have I don't know if it's crossdresser or a transvestite. But you have them walk up, and they're, like, touching John's jowls.
Well, you can't. It's like a baby. You got to, like, pinch those cheeks.
Yeah, well, that's not what I want to do with those cheeks. Oh, Murray. God damn it. PTSD. I just watched this movie, Murray. But there is one guy that speaks for us, and this is my favorite person in all the movie. I'm pretty sure.
Well, you got to remember, Griff, this was probably not Times Square was busy. This probably wasn't a closed set, so I think some regular people probably got on
this.
Set.
This had to be a candid shot,
right,
because this person speaks for all of us, because he gets right up in John's face and he goes, "Hey, fuck you, man."
And we're all just like, yeah, fuck you,
God.
man.
I'm pretty sure I got that clip into the trailer I made, but I love that, man. So
If
John,
someone says fuck, the prostitute hears the word fuck. She's like,
oh
somebody
yeah,
call
yeah.
me?
Yeah.
So the prostitute from earlier, they just got Costanza.
I thought I recognized her. Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured she died, but
She seems pretty desperate because she's like, look, man, $25 and $5 for a room. That's all you need. He's like, nah, I'm browsing right now. And she's like, wait, 15 for me. And he's like, I like the sound of that.
pats his wallet.
He
he's
goes,
like,
the
yeah.
price is right. And she's like, I know this place right up here. It's right down the street. Let's do this.
I'm just surprised because we're not used to heroes that get prostitutes. We're
No.
used to our heroes just being like everyone falling in love with them immediately.
Right.
So this
come on, we can't stretch things too far. Who's gonna immediately fall in love with fucking Ginty?
I know, right? I mean,
I just assumed he paid for any sex he ever had in his life.
that's what I assume too.
So
It's a very
they
believable movie right now.
go up into this flop house that you can rent it by the hour. And
Oh
we-
yeah, the old pump and dump motels.
Right. And we meet this guy who he must have just got straight out of acting school because he's like, my character's going to have this voice, and I'm going to do this and this.
Come on, this is the most memorable scene of the movie.
Right.
Are you saying this guy was shitty? I love this guy.
No, he was the only person working hard in this fucking movie, basically.
I feel like he
besides
was.
Steve and his eye acting.
Good point. I feel like he was trying to channel, and I'm so glad I just realized this. I think he was trying to channel like a Chevy Chase character.
Okay, I was thinking the ticket taker in New Year's Evil. That's the vibe I was.
That
getting
works
off
too.
of him. But yeah, so this is where we get into some very serious sheet negotiation.
You probably know the rules. $5 a half hour, $5 each additional half, $10 deposit. Give you back $5 if you're out on time. Clean sheets, $5 extra, $5 deposit on the sheets. You want the sheets?
Yeah.
You want the sheets?
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have the sheets. What does that all add up to?
$25.
These are the clean ones, huh?
Have a good time.
Wow.
That's how they get you, Griff. They lure you in with the low rates, and then they just amenities after amenities. Fucking, he had to put a deposit on fucking sheets. For fuck's sake.
Deposit on sheets. Who's going to a pump and dump motel to buy steal sheets?
I'm fucking standing up. Fuck you. I'm not. It's the principle. I'm not gonna let someone get away with that.
We couldn't even fit in a good clip all the other things, because you got to buy the dong bags, because he wasn't coming with his own or whatever. And then what else do you have? The fan, the candles,
robe, slippers,
the John DeHart CD. I mean, that's a CD
Towels.
at 80. The towels, of course. There's so much that goes in. And the difference between the wet and dry sheets.
wet naps,
Wet naps.
all of that.
So, I mean, he's down $100.
That's called the hooker shower. You just rub wet nap on your crotch.
So he's down like $100 for this quick lay. I mean, this is
Right.
rough.
He's like ready to get his money's worth. And then she's getting undressed. He's like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
What's up with them fucked up titties?
See, I thought they just I wasn't sure that this was the prostitute at first. I thought maybe they just reused her and made her a new character, but then she reveals those titties. And,
They're all scarred up from Costanza. He's like, hey, I ain't paying money for that.
oh my god.
And she's like, oh, I can put a shirt on or something. No, you ruined them. Who did this to you?
Come on, she was a lot harder on him with that. She's like, I'm about to fuck you. What are you talking about?
But he's like, I had to pay. So they're just arguing for like a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? I lost my boner. Who did this?
It wasn't until she started talking about, because she reveals that there's like this underground child sex stuff going on, and that's when he
she's like,
finally
I was at a
loses
chicken
boner.
shack. He's like, what's the chicken shack?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's where fucking pervs fuck young boys. What? And even as foul as Ginty is, even he's disgusted by this.
Yeah.
So he's just like, where's this place at? And
He touches her face, Rocky Dennison style, where he's just like, what does a normal face feel like? And of course, he leaves her $10 for that alone.
And it's like, you can keep the sheets. And
No, return the sheets and get my deposit.
Yeah, that's it. You want a tip, get the deposit. And you ain't getting the deposit at this place.
I got some other lead to work on here.
Oh, I like that. It's a nice segue.
Thank you.
So yes, we go
back to John's house, and he's got a whole workshop in his house, or he was just in a random factory.
I think I read somewhere in England this scene was cut out, and maybe even in America, because we watched the director's cut.
Oh, okay.
And I think because they show you how to make fucking hollow point bullets,
Yeah,
which are illegal.
yes.
And so he's got the drill press, and he's fucking hollowing out the tips, and he's put a little mercury in it, and then he just cut. Then he puts a little solder on it, and like.
This is one of those scenes. It lingers for a very long time.
I actually was making hollow point bullets while watching the scene, and I did it faster.
Oh, okay. So in this 9-minute clip, we see he's loading up, and I don't remember if we do see him reveal that he's got a special gun for the occasion and everything.
Well, he's got a fucking Kinjitashi case of his own.
Oh yeah,
and it's got the like foam with the shapes cut out. Yep. And he's got all his guns and everything, and he's got the fucking Snake Eater T-shirt. We learned that he was a member of Snake Eater too.
I like this. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, him? How the hell? You want to hang out with Lorenzo because Lorenzo's a pussy magnet. So
does the Impossible Expendable movies, do they take place in Nam, or are they like present day?
They're present day.
There should have been an Expendables type movie where it was all these action stars, because we were talking about Nam last week. John Saxon and Jim Kelly were in Nam together. Like, that should have been Cruise. That should have been a movie. Like, all these guys in present day. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not pitching that at all. So John's like, all right, I got to head down to the Comet Ping Pong Pizza. That's where the weird sex shit was happening.
So he goes there, and he's like...
Secret knock. Don't knock. Don't knock.
And then he's just like, yeah, what do you want?
Okay, Mel.
Hey, man, I got some chicken for you.
That's because he's not.
And he's like, oh, you do? Come on in.
Oh, my God. I'm looking for that finger-looking good stuff.
You got the 7 herbs and spices? You better believe it, man. And then he's just like, what do you got? He's like, well, I got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Mashed potatoes, no gravy.
The mom OD'd. Nobody knows these kids. These kids are prime meat, baby.
Oh, my God.
Legs, thighs for days. And he's like, licking his fingers.
Salivating.
And he's like, you know what? You're even disgustinger than me. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, I don't have any fucking kids. You're fucking disgusting. Well, that's going on. Costanza apparently lives here. He can't get enough of this place. He's back he's watching.
He actually finally took his jeans off.
Because he's like, can you guys shut up? I'm sodomizing a young boy here. And so he goes back to whatever he's doing to a young boy.
Oh no, he just stands there and watches as he hasn't come out.
Another quick cut.
He hasn't come out yet, technically.
We just
but
said
John Podesta gets kneed in his groin by Ginty. I mean, as if he's not offended enough by talking to him. John knees John right in the groin and then fucking locks him up in a bed, or chains him up in a bedroom.
Well, wait, but that's the thing. We spent 9 minutes on the bullet scene. He knees him in the nuts. Cut to the guy's chained to a bed all of a sudden.
And John is just standing over him, squirting lighter fluid on him.
Costanza's rubbing his crotch in the background.
This is where we see Costanza, and he's just I like this. I didn't realize it came up so many times. Costanza's always standing on a chair. You notice that he's always got like a step stool or a chair to stand on?
Well, because it's like when a bear comes at you, you have to appear larger.
Larger, yeah.
Right.
So he's standing there on top of a chair, rubbing himself, as John is lighting a matchbook, and he turns over. He's noticing Costanza over there, and then he tosses the matchbook in.
Did we say that he threw a bunch of lighter fluid on the guy?
Yep. Okay. Mentioned the lighter fluid.
And so, the guy's just screaming. Costanza's licking his lips. I like that. Then he comes to and then runs into the room.
Yeah. lock. He shuts the door. You hear him trying to fiddle with that lock, but you know when you're half afraid, half terrified, those jowls just jowling over to you. You can't. Your fingers aren't just doing their job,
Right.
you know. So he doesn't get the deadbolt.
John
in.
kicks the door in. He said he jumps on that chair to appear larger than life. You hear him "Ah!" from the side. Fucking Ginty just lays into him, like blows those hollow point mercury bullets into him.
Yeah, just gives him one. He just gives him the one.
And he just falls and dies. And then we see there's this young, naked, like 15-year-old boy on the bed, strapped down on his stomach.
Yeah, this kid. He's selling it well because John is coming in with the knife and he's trying to tell him it's okay. He thinks he's scared of the knife. He's afraid of the jowls, John. He's afraid of your jowls. But he cuts the kid free, and the kid is still terrified.
Right. Well, yeah.
Oh my God! John covers him up, and he's still just like, cover your face, man. Like, don't cover me, cover
He's like,
you.
Can you put that mask, that gimp mask out there? Can you put that on? And he's like, no, I mean, I appreciate you saving me, but can you cover up?
Yeah.
And then we get a nice scene of just Costanza's bloody ass and the soldering, like, on there.
So we fade away, and we come back to it's the next morning. Dalton's already here. How is Dalton already here?
He's like, yeah, chicken pimp, you got the holy shit, what's going on here?
He's pinning up another picture of a nice dong because there's a bunch of dong pictures hanging out here, and he's putting up another trophy dong that he just.
That's not a dong. That's a dong.
This a dog. This is Dolph Lundgren's dog, the biggest dog
I've ever seen on a man.
Oh,
and so yeah, he's there, and the cops show up, and they're like, "Holy shit! They set this guy on fire!"
Yeah.
It's like when someone falls asleep and they're smoking. And
Yeah.
did you hear Senator Art Vandelay is in the back room? Who knew?
Yeah. Shit's getting crazy, and he's just like, seeing all these dead people and sodomized.
Seeing all these dongs makes me hungry for some hot dog.
I gotta go back. I gotta hurry back to the office.
See wiener, eat wiener. So he's like, I got some Johnsonville brats waiting at the station.
So he's like talking to another guy. He's like, I got a lot of leads here, but you know what? And while he's doing this, he has pulled a hot dog out of the fridge, and he's just like sucking on it. He's like just doing some weird hot dog action
Very
here.
oral.
Very. Didn't even consider that. And he's like, I got a file here. And so we grab the file, he puts it down on his desk, and then he's like looking at that hot dog, and we see this apparatus hanging here.
Right.
And he's got these frayed wires, and he's got them taped up with some forks. And he takes the hot dog and sticks it on both these forks.
It would work
to
so,
close
yeah.
circuit.
Right.
And so we've got to fry up a hot dog from a frayed
Pulls
lamp
out
wire.
some fucking Pré Poupon mustard. He's just
Yeah.
licking his lips. He gets a call from like the CSI guys, or he calls them, and they're like, "Hey, we found a bloody footprint. These boots are only sold in Maine."
Oh.
And he's like, that sounds interesting. It sounds like a lead. Look
Okay.
into that. And then he gets a call from hot and horny nurse Megan.
Yeah, and you know he's doing some great acting here. He's trying to play it cool, but you can see he's like all
all
excited.
giddy.
He's like, "Oh man!"
And she's like, "Look, I got an extra ticket for the Chuck Mangione show in Central Park."
I mean, you're not doing anything, are you? And he's like, he's slathered the Grey Poupon on that hot dog. He's a little embarrassed by it, and he like you can see that in him. Like Megan can hear him just going to. He's not Ginty. It's like we won't hear you munching down on that hot dog, dude.
So he's like, "Hey, it sounds like a date. I can be there in 22 minutes."
22 minutes.
He's got it down to the second. He knows
Yeah.
how to get. So they go to the Chuck Mangione. He's playing the one song everybody knows.
Yep. He's meeting up with Megan, of course, but Megan has brought a friend.
Well, no, a friend just happens to stumble by.
Oh,
and
that's
she's
right.
like, she's like, Megan. She's like,
Oh.
and she immediately, she's like, "Hey, this is a cop I'm dating. Hey, want to smoke a joint?"
She's like, "Oh yeah, cop, sure. Now look, you guys, I see you're enjoying Mangione, but the only way to really enjoy Mangione,
And then she's like, by the way, abolish the police."
yeah,
And that kind of turns off our man.
he
Dalton.
played it cool though.
Yeah.
He played it cool.
So he's like, they're walking home. They're just exhilarated from that. Chuck, he did 5 encores.
5 encores, man, of the same song, by the way.
The one we all know. I don't know what it's called, but I know that song.
It's just called "Ba-da-ba-dow."
Bum, bum, ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da, ba-da-da, da, 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 da.
Man, Murray really wants to get into this. So, walking home, it's a nice night, fireflies are out, crime, everyone is out doing crime everywhere else. So they're just talking very peacefully, and Dalton reveals to Megan that he was a nom, and she's like, wow.
Well, because they were talking about, because she was like a hippie back in the day. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, it was a lot different when I was. And she's like, you were in the shit? He's like, yeah, I was in the shit. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. It was some fucked up shit.
So the camera just goes up to a street light, and then it comes back down to a park.
Same park, probably.
I thought it was the same park. I was waiting for Dalton to appear in the
it is
scene.
Central Park. It's a pretty big fucking park.
That is true. It's like miles long. Right. So, yeah, actually what we're getting to is we've got these gooligans hanging out in a tree. Old lady, she's like the Tweety Bird old lady, Yeah. She comes walking by. She's been grocery shopping at 3 a.m.
You know how we know? Because she's got some green shit hanging out of her bag. That's a universal symbol for I'm grocery shopping.
I'm grocery shopping. Must have been COVID times where they have special times for the elderly to go shopping,
Yeah,
and they, of course, all old people wake up at 3 a.m. So
Right.
that makes sense. But she's walking by. The gooligans are just up in that tree. They're fucking getting rip shit on ham. They're just, I don't know. They probably had a couple nacho pastrami sandwiches. They're going crazy. Shitting
that
on people.
gets me. I want to beat the shit out of an old lady after a nacho pastrami sandwich.
They're just shitting on people like they're birds. That's what's fun for them. But they drop down on this old woman, and they're robbing her and
laughing all the way. She's like, "Please, my Social Security check hasn't come yet." And they're just going through. They're going through her change purse, for fuck's sake.
Well, this was the 70s.
Yeah,
so
you could get stuff for change.
Yeah, I mean, a cup of coffee and a couple hamburgers is like a nickel. So there you go.
Yeah.
But
and we noticed it's that same guy from earlier that he threatened with the blowtorch.
Yeah. One of the gooligans.
Yeah.
So
and there's no mercy. And then this is another. I question our hero, because a good Samaritan just happens to be driving by in a motorcycle. He's like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? And the guy pulls out a knife. You want to start some shit? He's like, whoa, no, I'm cool.
Yeah, he just goes over to the old lady, and the gooligans are like, look, we've had enough of this scene. We got our money. We don't want any of that vegetables. That's bullshit. We're gonna go get us some nice White Castle. So they get in their car and they take off.
John just happens to be lurking in the park.
He was with
his gun out.
Yeah, that's right. He did have his gun out.
And then the guy, he just immediately pulls the gun on the Good Samaritan. Like, I'm taking your bike.
He could have the Good Samaritan is 45 feet away from the bike, so John could have just hopped on the bike and taken off because he was tending to the old woman.
He could have said, "Hey, I need to use your bike to get those fucking guys." No, he threatens the fucking guy with his gun.
Yep. Goes to the guy, tells him, I'm going to fucking shoot your head off with a hollow point bullet. Your brains are going to be splattered everywhere. You drunk piece of shit. Taking your bike. Gives him a nice little pistol whip. Sees that the old lady's noticing him, so he pistol whips the old lady, hops on the bike, and gives shit. It's like, what the fuck, Ginty?
And since he's fucking, like, a very good Rocky Dennison reference,
Thank
because
you.
his head is so big he can barely fit the motorcycle helmet
it's,
on.
It's like a kid with the hat on where it's just sitting on his head.
There was a movie we did recently where somebody did it. They had the hat. And
I don't remember what it was, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And we were dying over it. It was killing us. So frustrating to see that shit.
Yeah. So he chased. There's another thing I love. They just beat the shit out of an old lady, but they're like, whoa, red light, stop!
Yes. And they're drunk as fuck, and they're still like, we gotta abide by some rules. Right. Like they would get into AEW and be like, whoa, guys, 10-second count out is a thing. You can't use a chair in the ring.
So that red light gives Ginty enough time to catch up to him.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, it's that fucking asshole from back there. Let's see what he wants.
Yeah, they just think it's, the Good Samaritan.
Right.
But they don't. It's too dark. They don't notice the jowls. They don't notice the helmet just barely fitting over his head.
Was such a horrifying reveal.
Yeah.
Because they go, hey, so what do you want? And then he lifts up the face shield, and you see just jowls everywhere.
Oh, the face shield was like, it has grease marks on it because the jowls were just pressing up against it. Ugh.
And the guy, he is like stunned, much like Gino earlier. And that's enough time to get the drop on him. So Ginty just shoots him with a fucking hollow point. He goes flying. He sells it like a motherfucker.
Oh, he absolutely does. This is Shawn Michaels level selling. He just, he goes over the top turnbuckle and into the first 2 rows. It's
he does
ridiculous.
the fucking Ric Flair bit where he goes upside down over in the corner.
Yeah, that was exactly. Shawn Michaels did that too,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, he's on my mind.
And the other guys take off. They just leave their buddy to die.
Oh yeah, well, why not? They knew it was a hollow point. You can
Right.
tell by the sound.
Right.
Well, also, you got to get as far as you can away from those jowls. All right, so we got the car chase again. Ginty's giving chase, but of course, he didn't get his helmet on correctly, and all that grease is getting in his way now. So he ends up biting ass or spilling ass.
Well, they go to a construction area, and I didn't get. There's a construction area. There's parked cars in the area. I didn't get what was going on with this scene.
Yeah, they forgot if it was a post-apocalyptic movie or whatever.
I don't know. They thought they stumbled onto the set of Bronx Warriors.
There we go.
But yeah, so he's like, he crashes, and they're like, "We got him!"
Yeah,
and then they're like, it's much like when you're playing a card game on a video game, but they're like stuck. They're trying to get their car out of this thing, and then they're about to run his ass down, and then he whips out his dirty hairy gun, shoots the driver. Then all of a sudden they're on an overpass.
Yes,
they go over the overpass, and then does it? I think he shoots it to make it explode, doesn't he?
I don't think he does. I remember him wasting one precious hollow point bullet to shoot the driver through the window.
Okay, but the car blows up. It has to.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
So, of course, we're going to go the next morning because this is just how these movies work. And we got Dalton arriving late to the scene, and the car crash scene, that is. And he's over the moon right now because he
got laid, dude.
Do you think he got laid that night?
Yes.
That you think Megan fucks on the first date?
Yeah.
Wait, that was their second date, wasn't it?
Yes, and she fucked on the first date. I know that too. We just went over the nipple caressing and all that.
That's
shit.
right.
How can you stop at just nipple icing?
You know what? How could I believe anything else happened? John DeHart was playing, so
Right.
of course they fucked. Oh,
Right.
I'm an idiot. Okay, so he's in that glow. He's in that glow stage. He's getting fresh pussy. He's like, life is good. I don't care about murder anymore. I don't care about anything.
my job.
Like, I got 2 weeks before pension kicks in. I'm taking off.
He's just phoning it in, just checking it out. And then Shaw, the CIA spook, shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I want to work with you. Do you got any leads you can? What do you think?" He's like,
Yeah.
"I think you need to take a shit. Because you're so full of shit, it's coming out your mouth instead of your asshole.
Oh,
Now,
sweet Jesus.
I got to make a call to a hot-ass nurse."
I mean, I will say, Shaw is throwing out conspiracy theories. He's like, it's Russia, it's Ukraine, it's the servers, it's the emails, it's the
it's
Clintons.
Benghazi. It's like
Benghazi.
everything.
It's like, come on,
And he's
dude.
like, I'm on the phone here. And he calls. He's like, "Hey, Megan, you want to fuck again?" And she's like, "I'd love to, but I got to work." Wait. I got it. There's this little room, me and the other nurses, we'll have to call it midnight admission.
Is
And
there
he's
fresh?
Like, and she's like, "You know what that means? Like, there's gonna be some midnight emission going on if you know what I'm talking about."
How the sheets in there?
Do I gotta pay a deposit?
Are they fresh?
She's like, "No deposit." Yes. And then he just face palms Shaw. He's like, "I don't give a shit what you're saying. I'm getting laid right now. We're both gonna get laid on our boss's time."
Yes.
the dream of the fucking working people.
So he makes a beeline. He even puts a siren on his car so
he's
we can
like-
get there quicker.
11:32. I got fucking 28 minutes for that midnight admission.
So it just so happens that Ginty has showed up to the hospital as well.
Well, he wants to check in with his buddy.
Yup. And, wow, he's not just checking in with his buddy. He is playing Kevorkian here.
Right. He's like, you don't want to live anymore, do you? He's like trying to talk Steve into it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got children and a wife.
Right.
He doesn't even care about that.
But he knows that Mike understands he doesn't have the money to afford it. This is going to... Even if he gets out of this thing, he's paralyzed, eh?
He just told him 2 days ago he had the money. He didn't need to worry about money.
It wasn't going to... That was just to get them over for a week. These hospital bills, he's going to be paralyzed. He's going to have to be wheelchair. He's going to have ramps.
Well, he's like, "Look, do you want me to end it? If yes, blink 2 times. If no, blink twice."
Yeah, I got distracted for the scene. I didn't see what Steve actually said.
Yeah. Well, he didn't say anything, but then again, he said a lot.
Murray, of course, he said something with his eyes. I'm asking you, what did he say?
So he's like, 2 yes, twice no, and then
2 yes, twice no.
Exactly, and that confused, like much like you, that
you
confuses
see him blink
Steve.
confusion,
right? Well, that's the thing. He's like, you want me to kill you? Because he wanted to kill Steve. Because he wanted Steve out. He wanted to move in on his wife. He wanted to become the father of Steve's kids and the husband, his wife.
I get it. Yep, I think that's what was happening there.
So it's like you said, and because he's so ready to kill Steve, now he pull the plug, he cuts it.
He's
like, there's no way they're bringing you back.
It gave him an idea though, because he sees those frayed wires sparking. He's like, "Hey, I bet I could tie a couple forks to this, hang it off a lamp, and maybe make a hot dog over it."
Well, that's going on. Fucking Dalton's going to Bone Town. Across the hall, you just hear the squeaking, beds pounding.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's somebody. I'm dying of COVID. Can you please find another room? Shut up. They put a blanket over that guy.
Put a rag in his mouth. He's on a ventilator. It's already tough enough to breathe.
So I don't want to go to this hospital because it takes like a fucking 5 minutes for the emergency thing to someone's dying to like go off.
Yeah. The alarm starts
Ginty
going
just
off.
strolls out.
Yeah.
And then the alarm goes off, and then Megan's like, I have to do this. He's like, what the fuck's this shit?
Yeah.
And she's like, it means somebody's crashing. I have to fucking go, shit.
So
what am I going to do with this? Points to his dick.
She's in her lace and everything. She just puts a lab coat on over it and runs over, sees that it, we know it's Jefferson's room, but we follow Ginty. He's getting into the elevator. Dalton walks out, dick hanging out of it.
Dick flopping everywhere.
He's got his jeans on, but he forgot to do the fly, so his dick's just hanging out there. And Dalton, Ginty must have thought of this line on the spot and was like, "You leave that in the movie." He's like, "Hey, horse is out of the barn."
And he looks down. Oh, whoa, sorry. Yeah. And then he notices this army jacket that he's wearing. He's like,
And then Megan comes running over, and she's like, "That's Jefferson. He's dead." He's like, "Jefferson? Why do I recognize?" Like, I don't know. I don't
falling into place.
Yeah, everything's connecting. Dalton's putting it all together now.
And he's just like, "Somebody stop that guy!" But it's too late.
Yep.
John gets away. So everybody runs back to the office. He's checking the files. He gets a call from that CSI guy. He's like, "Look, we looked up Jefferson. He was always in the Army, and he was in the Army with this guy who wears a size 10, and he ordered these boots from Maine." I don't know. It was very complicated how they figured this out.
Yeah, I mean, they throw his name straight out there.
Yeah.
It's John Eastman. That's your guy. So, I mean, Dalton knows who he's going after now. They can figure out where this John Eastman lives and everything, but he's got to strap up himself.
He's got to gear up, man. Yeah. First, he gets those fucking Beetle boots on because he was like stumbling around. I know a nice touch was he drove a real car. I could see a cop driving. It was all rusted out and shit.
Yeah, Columbo car, yeah.
Yeah, he's not driving a fucking like Lamborghini like Sonny Crockett. And he zips up the Beetle boots first. And then he goes to his Kinja attaché case.
Also at Snake Eater's shirts.
Oh, they were all. I surprised he didn't recognize John. They were in the Snake Eater unit together.
That PTSD, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some CT problems.
And then he's got a fucking gun from Terminator. It's like this fucking.
It was insane.
The shotgun.
It was a futuristic looking shotgun. It's straight from a video game.
Right. And he's like, I'm ready.
I like this when the police forces have to like supply their own weapons. All right, so
I love that he just keeps his dangerous weapon like in the fucking his safest place would be a police station. But yeah. So next morning, Dalton's getting ready to do a raid on the old John place.
Yeah, they don't even have a warrant. They're just like, hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take him down.
But this is another thing. Okay, Maria is the wife of the guy who just died.
Yeah,
they don't call her at all, the hospital. John tells her, first of all, he walks in, he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, it's like 3 a.m. He's like, "Sorry to wake you. You got any leftovers?"
Any leftovers?
And she's like, "Sure, John, whatever, you know."
I like that he brought some laundry with him.
Right. He's like, "Yeah, if you could do these, I want starch in these." And she's like, "Whatever, John, you know, whatever." And then while he's in the middle of eating, she's been there for like a half an hour. He's like, oh, by the way, your husband died.
Yeah.
But don't worry about it. You're going to be looked after. She's like, "No." She's crying. He's like, He's like, eek, I don't know. This scene's getting too heavy for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. But you get that laundry done by tonight? Because I got a hot date.
I got a hot date.
I got a midnight admission happening later on. He's like, can you clean these sheets? I'm bringing my own fucking sheets.
Yep.
You're not getting me again for that deposit bullshit.
Well, those deposit obviously get back. He's not paying for, he'll
That's
bring
the thing.
you.
You don't get the deposit back, Griff. Because they find some reason. They're like, there's a stain here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like, no, that stain was there from before. Nope. I can tell. Look at, I got a picture.
It's fresh. I can see your DNA on it.
Oh, yeah.
So he just leaves them. While that's going on, they do the raid. He's obviously not there. They're going through his shit, rifling through his CDs. He's like, I don't have this Chuck Mangione. Puts it in his pocket.
Dalton sits down, and this is a real book. He's got the Anarchist Cookbook.
I remember the Anarchist Cookbook.
He's just flipping through the pages.
Oh, that's a good thing, writing down some notes.
Yeah, hollow point
highlighting
bullets.
it.
Yeah, this is how you make hollow point bullets. So,
They got snipers on the fucking how dangerous do you think this guy is? Yeah.
I mean, they know he's armed, so yeah.
So John's coming home, got that that motorcycle helmet. This thing, he still hasn't returned. He's keeping the motorcycle.
Yeah, finders keepers.
Yeah. 9/10 of the law.
So he spots it. He notices the snipers up on the roof. They're not trying to hide at all. They're right there. So John heads over to a payphone. It's out on the dock somewhere. You can tell it's the docks because there's cawing. There's you hear gunfire going off. It's all kinds of bullshit.
It was a phone booth in the middle of rubble.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
Yeah. And he calls up Dalton, who of course is just sitting in his house, and he tells him, hey,
leave my CDs alone.
Yeah, do not take that Mangione. I just got it. That's the live CD. He autographed it.
And he tells him, he's like, hey, meet me at the Brooklyn Navy. Meet me at the docks, of course.
Docks, of course.
Brooklyn Navy Yard, Crane 5, 3 a.m.
Everything happens at 3 a.m. in this movie.
Yes, I don't know. It's a perfect hour to do things. Come alone.
Because he says, I'm not going to be alone, doesn't he?
I don't think.
I thought he was trying to set him up.
I think he just said come alone because he does come alone.
So
while this will have for some reason, Shaw figures out that
Shaw was listening in.
I know, but why? How is he tapping the phone? How did he know that John?
Because
is he
Dalton,
tapping everyone's phone?
Dalton gives it to him.
Does he?
Dalton's trying to help the CIA.
I thought Dalton was like, fuck the CIA.
He
just told the guy he was full of shit that it was coming out of his mouth and out his asshole.
But is it the higher orders? He's like, Jimmy Carter called me personally.
According to QAnon, all our phones are tapped. So that's what I think happened.
That might be it. But he was working with Shaw because he calls Shaw and tells him, yeah, we got the trace down. We got him. We'll figure it out. Good thing we knew he would go to that payphone, so we put a tracer on it.
So he says a crane, but wasn't it like a battleship they were on?
It was a ship. It wasn't a crane at all.
Yeah. And we see John lurking up there. So
Dalton follows him, and they're doing like this whole little cat mouse thing.
And then he sets up this. He's got it all set up with flares, like all this like mood lighting and everything.
This is where we get the John DeHart lighting going. Yeah,
and then he attacks Dalton.
He just wings him. He fires a bullet right by his head. He was just trying to make him feel like a what was it? A target? He was trying to make him feel fear or something. It's like, hey, man, I was in Nam too. What are you trying to do?
That's what it's like to be a victim. That's
what it's like to be a victim.
So he almost kills Dalton, and then he goes to hand the gun. While that's going on, Dalton just gets shot from a sniper from across the way.
Yeah.
One of Shaw's guys. And then all of a sudden, they're like fucking brothers and shit. Like, Dalton's like, just get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll cover you. Why? I'd be like, fuck you. Every man for himself. I don't know the fuck. First of all, you almost tried to kill me 5 seconds ago.
Right, but he understood it. They're both Vietnams.
It's a snake eater for life, dude.
Yeah. All right,
so John's like ready to like jump off the fucking side of the like fucking battleship they're on, and while he's about to do that, he gets shot.
Yep.
And then falls in, and then Dalton's like, no! Like, he's know this fucking guy.
I know.
And then he gets up, and then he gets fucking just pummeled with fucking bullets. Dead.
Yeah, and we just hear radio contact. Hey, targets are done. They're gonzo. They're donezo. Killed them.
We did it.
Did it. One of them fell in the water, but it's that ugly one. He's dead, for sure.
Gotta be dead. But then he didn't know gels are a flotation device.
Yep.
And so we see the next day, he's like, apparently there's like a pallet that was floating that he's like floating on, and he goes back, he opens the shirt, we see he's got the flak jacket from Nam on.
Dude, it's like a potato sack. It's like white, and they just wrote flak jacket U.S. military on it. Silly
and then we
shit.
get another helicopter shot. They just pull away, and then that's it.
Do, 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 do.
Was that supposed to be the MASH theme song?
Yeah.
Well, if only Suicide was painless enough that Ginty did it.
Yeah, really.
So, yeah.
Not the worst Ginty movie.
No, there's worser.
Yeah, I know there is because he's barely in this movie. He didn't have a sister, thankfully.
No, but she did have a great body. It's a
She
shame she was the
Hey,
sister.
not our sister, so.
Exactly. So, Griff, we lost another great one.
Jesus Christ.
They're dropping like flies. Damn you, COVID.
Really?
I'm talking, of course, of action superstar and diabetes superstar.
Oh, Jesus.
And oatmeal superstar.
Oatmeal superstar.
Wilford Brimley. So we're going to do a movie in honor of him. Actually, we're not. I just wanted to do this movie, and Wilford Brimley happens to be in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, let's fucking do this movie. 'Cause I actually wanted to do it for our superhero, but it's technically not a superhero.
Yeah, it's a weird movie.
Yeah, it's a very weird movie. Of course, I'm talking about Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, I believe, is the full title.
Sounds right.
And it did, and as we learned, it did, and it began and ended because we never got a sequel. Too bad, but that'll be next week's movie, and whatever you do, don't keep it ginty.
You want the sheets?